Boo. Okay, we're live. I'm live. This is it's the second time I've done this. I'm live on X and YouTube. Hi, YouTube. I miss you all. There's so much fun stuff to talk about today. We're actually going to go into a few different topics. I totally forgot that the RFK Jr. confirmation hearings were today, and they were rather spicy. So I think it would be proper to watch some of those clips as well. So there will be a lot. But hi guys. Happy Wednesday. We All right, so we're going to go into I have my favorite lady to show you just for some fun. We will go into some quick news. Trump did something really interesting yesterday that I wanted to talk about. And then we'll talk about the deportations a little bit, what's happening, because there's a lot more happening, I think, than all this kind of stuff that we're being told. So we'll go into that a little bit and then look at the RFK hearings because they're rather spicy and I like them. Housekeeping, if you're on YouTube and you're in the chat, so I do need to make more moderators. I used to not need as many moderators, but I YouTube has been doing this thing where they're promoting your lives out, which is really good, but it's attracting people that we don't know. And some of them are trolly. So I'm sorry. I will try to keep up with the chat if that happens and remove people as I can. And if you're a moderator that comes in, just if anyone's being like really nasty, just get rid of them. So there's that. That's housekeeping. Oh, one more thing too. I finally set this up because I get emails and messages. It's hard to read all of them. I'm on a lot of different apps and also trying to make stuff at the same time. So I finally set up, I will show it to you. So I set up a Cameo. It's really cool. All right, here it is right here. So Sarah Sansoni on Cameo. I'll put the link at the bottom of my videos. But what you can do, you can submit a question. It's like $2 to submit any question about anything. You can request a video, anything like that, if that's something you want to do. All the money from Cameo goes directly to getting back to North Carolina and out to California. So there's that. I figured that was kind of a good solution, but if there's anything that you want there, you can do that. Cameo Sarah Sansoni. It's my name. It's the same everywhere. And no one else has that name, at least that I know of. So that's good. But I'm just checking. Are we on X too? Let's see. Twitter, X, whatever. Oh, there we are. Look, that's me. I'm on TV. Okay. All right, let's get started. First, I just want to introduce you. I like to laugh a little bit and have fun before we talk about depressing stuff. Although today it's not depressing. It's actually not. We have a lot of good news. But this is my lady. If I have a leader, good morning. If I have a leader, it would be this woman. And I will follow her anywhere and do whatever she tells me to do. So we'll start with just a little bit of random fun. Produce your own home. It's time to. All right. I don't know what church this is. This is Jackson. Is it Jackson, Mississippi? I don't know, but I like this church. It's got to be a Southern church. Southern churches are the best churches. And I apologize if I don't sound great. I did break all of my microphones, so I'm really bad with microphones.
Y'all know what it's like. We getting ready to go home. It's time to eat. What do you do when you get ready to fry?
Oh.
Get that skillet. What do you pour?
Oh.
You gonna fry some chicken, you gonna need some
oil.
You gonna fry some fish, you gonna need some
oil.
You gonna fry some vegetables, you gonna need some
oil.
You gonna fry some bacon, you need some No. You don't need no oil when you fry bacon, because what? Bacon has its own oil. I want you to look over at somebody and say, "Me like bacon, baby." Every time the heat is applied, you just produce your own oil. You just produce your own oil and become what you were meant to be.
He likes bacon. Is that not the best church service that ever was, and we only saw 1 minute of it? I will attend that church. Alright, that was fun. Hi, Miles, good to see you. Okay, alright, first, I actually wanna know what some of you think about this. At first, I didn't like it, but now I do. So this is just a quick piece of news, and then we'll go into deportations, and then we'll go into RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing because it's rather spicy. All right. So Trump, you know that they started Doge. That's what Elon Musk is basically in charge of, and the whole idea is obviously to Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, obviously to figure out where we can be more efficient, cut costs, and cut employees. If you remember when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he cut their staff by about 80%, and it got a lot more efficient. So that's what they're planning on doing. What they're doing here is really interesting, though. So, yesterday, Trump announced a federal buyout and sent a letter to 2 million federal employees. And this is what it is. So, I'm really curious to hear other opinions. All right. I'm reading the AP, so just keep that in mind. The Trump administration announced Tuesday that it is offering buyouts to all federal employees who opt to leave their jobs by next week, an unprecedented move to shrink the US government at a breakneck speed. A memo from the Office of Personnel Management, the government's human resources agency, said it would begin subjecting all federal employees to enhanced standards of suitability and conduct and ominously warned of future downsizing. The email sent to millions of employees um, said to leave their posts voluntarily or they can receive a buyout of 8 months' salary. They have to choose by February 6th. So essentially, what this is, it's a buyout deal and uh, he sent it out to 2 million employees and he said, I'm going to give you an option. Either you're going to decide to come back to the work and face possible downsizing in the future and obviously increase standards. One of those being now they have to go back to work. They can't work remotely as much as they were. Or you can take this buyout. You can take 8 months of pay. So they would be paid through September 30th. They don't have to work. Some agencies might require a little bit of work. Okay, you say that's smart. I think so too. At first, I was like, wait a second, I don't even like most of them. Why am I going to pay them? Why do I want to pay them for 8 months? But it's genius because a lot of people probably will take that deal and you're getting employees out that you probably don't want. And sometimes you have to negotiate and give a little bit. This was sent to 2 million employees. So it'll be really, and they don't have to work. They can, even Elon Musk, so he's like the leader of Doge, he sent out a text message today, or not a text message, it could have been a text message too. I don't know. He sent out a tweet, basically clarifying some of the questions and saying, no, you can go take a vacation if you want, if that's what you want to do, and find work. I love that. I like it instead of just doing a few months of severance and letting everyone go. They're not flooding the job market and you're enticing people that you probably don't want there in the first place anyway. I saw a crazy statistic, or I heard a crazy statistic. We might hear it later, but it was something like 87% or some absurd number of federal employees actually are liberal and voted for like Kamala Harris. So that just goes to show that a lot of people in these federal government positions probably are not going to like a lot of what Trump is going to be doing anyway. We know that a lot of them don't do much anyway. So if you can get them out the door rather quickly and make them happy, we're happy. I'm cool with it. So it looks like you guys are too. Awesome. Oh, okay. John said Trump's press secretary said that only 6% of federal employees actually come to the office. I totally believe it. I was watching a video the other day of a woman. She was claiming to be an ex federal employee, and she was saying the same thing. She was like, avoids AI. So she was just talking about how her coworkers used to brag about how they didn't do anything and how they were so lazy. So I think you're getting a lot of people out that you probably don't want there anyway. Um, yeah, Corey, I totally agree. Avoids a lot of fighting out the door. Just make everyone happy. It's and even Elon Musk himself said earlier today, it's a very generous offer. Everyone's happy. So cool. All right, let's go into deportations. We have to watch this Selena video. I know you saw this. We have to start it with that. So, Selena Gomez, just so you guys know, Selena at one point in time, I don't know if she still is. I love that. And John said, Trump just learned his lesson the first time. Can't trust many people in Washington. Absolutely. I'm here for it. I'm not mad at it. When I first heard it, I was like, wait a second. I don't want to pay them to freeload, but they're already freeloading. Make them happy. Get them out. Bye bye. Don't stand in our way. Uh, so Selena, at one point in time, she had the most followers of anyone on Instagram. So she's a wildly popular celebrity, especially with young people. She did produce a documentary a while back called Undocumented. So I don't know if this was something she felt like she had to do, but she released this video on her Instagram, deleted it 20 minutes later, and got so much backlash. I have never seen anyone become the dunce of the United States of America quicker than this. And I'm just going to fully admit it. Sometimes it's nice to see other people embarrass themselves for a change. I think it's healthy to enjoy that for a few seconds. But in all honesty, I don't know. We're going to watch it and then we'll look at some of the backlash and then we'll go into who's actually getting deported right now.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. Only people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
And there it is. That's the infamous video. Wait, I want to see if there is. Okay, I want to show you guys this. Did I write that? No, I didn't. We're going to look at this in just a second because I have a really good point that I want to make. So Selena clearly doesn't understand who all is getting deported. And who they were going after first are the most dangerous of people. And by the way, since our border has opened up over Joe Biden, human trafficking has gone up in this country 600%. 250,000 Americans have died from fentanyl poisoning. And poisoning, I use that very purposefully. They don't call it an overdose, they call it poisoning because a lot of people, they think they might just be taking a pill to take the edge off and it's laced and then they pass away. Or they think they're doing a drug that they know what it is and it's laced and they pass away. It's extremely deadly and all of it comes over the southern border. Not to mention, she doesn't talk about these girls. So here you have Kayla Hamilton. All these girls were killed by illegal immigrants. And I just want you to look at some of them too. Some of them are very young, some of them are Hispanic. And I guarantee you, the reason I brought up Selena Gomez's popularity is because I guarantee you that some of these girls were actually Selena Gomez fans. So again, who are her people? And it's also Mexican Americans also voted for Donald Trump. First generation legal immigrants also voted for Donald Trump. And sometimes they're the people that want illegal immigrants out more than anyone because it's insulting. And what's also interesting is the president of Mexico has stated she doesn't want them to come back. So again, I don't know who she's talking about. And these are people that are literally just going back home. They broke into our country and now they're going back home. So I found that really funny, interesting, and obviously a lot of people had the same amount of backlash. Um, Maybe if detached from reality, oblivious celebs like Selena Gomez film themselves crying for the American citizens by these foreign criminals and scumbags instead of crying for the foreign criminal scumbags themselves. Again, yeah, and I also wanted to point out the fact that some of these girls are probably Selena Gomez fans because she didn't say anything about this. And also, there's a new term that I became familiar with since reporting on all of this stuff that's going on the border. It's called femicide. A lot of these girls were also random. Rachel was random, Lakin was random, Jocelyn was random. Jocelyn was only 12 years old. Molly was random, and I'm just not too familiar with her story or these stories, but all these girls were random. So we're importing people that have no value for human life. Usually, if a woman gets attacked in our country, we're used to it being it's probably the boyfriend, the husband, somebody that she knows, but this is completely different. This is a new kind of crime where these women didn't know their attackers. It's completely random. So that's what's scary because back in the day, we're used to it's probably the boyfriend or the husband or something like that. It is news. That's the last attention I'm giving her, I promise. And that's the thing when you look at especially these cases with Rachel, Lakin, and Jocelyn, these were girls that Lakin and Rachel were hiking on trails that Rachel was on the trail that she grew up going to. Lakin was on the trail in her college town, Athens, Georgia. There hadn't been a crime like that in Athens, Georgia for over 30 years. And then Rachel, she was attacked very similar in style to Lakin Riley. She was attacked in um, Maryland, and there had only been one other murder similar to hers that had happened in that area in I think a similar amount of time, like 30 or 40 years. And guess what? That other murder was at the hands of an illegal immigrant. So it's really interesting. I heard a news anchor say too, oh, when was it? There was an interview that I was watching with a news anchor, and the anchor was like, upset about the deportation flights and the anchor was like, well, how do we know who's on those flights? We don't really know. Where's the transparency? And I was like, are you crazy, lady? Are you crazy pants? Why didn't you ask that question when people were coming in our country? You know, all the people that are discarding their IDs at the border, you weren't worried about who was coming into our country. You're worried about who's going back home out of our country. And I like the press secretary too, because she said every single person that crossed that border is a criminal. They are here illegally. It's a crime. Sorry, but it is. And I'm just so excited that we are back to common sense. Here, where was this? Oh, yeah. And here's Dr. Phil.
Say the sound. Yes.
So this is one
Where
of
you
the
from?
people that was deported. And here's Dr. Phil interviewing him. Why did they blur? Oh, they didn't blur out Dr. Phil. It's like, why did they blur out him?
What's your name?
Seda.
Say the what? You have a person last name.
Sound.
Say the sound.
Yes.
Where you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported.
But I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charge where?
before?
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom says it.
Your mother's a citizen,
Yes.
but you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah. How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in, process and lock them up.
So these are the type of people that are getting deported out of our country. That's who she's upset over.
According to President Trump in an interview, I think
I actually watched, this is a whole 19-minute segment that I watched yesterday. Jake Tapper was just, oh, this is hilarious. Hold on. And this guy, Stephen Miller, he's another favorite of mine.
question about, because one of the reasons that President Trump got elected, according to President Trump in an interview, I think it was with Kristen Welker of NBC, was because of grocery prices. Not the only reason, but a reason: high prices, inflation, especially at the grocery. The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do. So how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake. You're just asking the question that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want to this.
We don't have
you and your audience.
I don't have a I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you can come back and we can talk about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They're in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So
that's true. It's really, I'm so glad he asked that question, because that is absolutely true. The majority of the ones that came in under Joe Biden, he's right. They're in the inner cities, in hotels and shelters collecting welfare. Some of them are actually online bragging about the welfare that they are collecting. And in my opinion, if you're here illegally, you should not be getting any sort of government funds, unless it's some type of specialized refugee program, which they have paused all that right now as well, which I agree with. But and I brought this up earlier today. A lot of people will say, well, we're a nation of immigrants. This is who we are. We're a nation of immigrants. That's how your ancestors got here. No, it's not. First of all, my great grandfather, his name is Emilio Sansoni. He came in through Ellis Island, which is a port of entry. He didn't pay someone to smuggle him through the desert. He didn't discard his ID when he came in. He came in through Ellis Island, had to do a health screening, had to have a job prospect, had to have a sponsor, and there was no welfare state. We didn't have a welfare state, so they were not collecting government taxpayer benefits, which is very different than what's happening right now. And I think it was Thomas Sowell who said, you can't have open borders in a welfare state. It doesn't work. And that's why President Trump has paused a lot of federal funding because of that. And I believe they paused the funding for the NGOs as well. I hope they do. I hope they pause funding for the NGOs, and I hope they investigate them. Okay, Trump admin to pause grants federal financial assistance program following executive orders. The White House has issued a memo that temporarily suspends federal grants, loans, and other financial assistance programs. Yeah, the White House official told News Digital that memo was initially misrepresented. A lot of people were thinking they were getting their benefits shut down. That's not what's happening. Donald Trump's executive orders, such as ending diversity, equity, and inclusion, the Green New Deal, and funding non governmental organizations that the White House suspect undermine national interest. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. And you guys, a lot of these NGOs, they're under 501(c) contracts, which directly says you're not allowed, if you're under a 501(c)(3) contract, getting federal funding and having tax exemptions, you're not supposed to be engaging in any sort of political or partisan things. And I think you could argue that our open border is very political and partisan, and it shouldn't be getting funded for that. It's not in the best interest of the country, and they're literally aiding and abetting these people coming over. And one of the reasons they do that is because they get a lot of money. Our federal government is deeply in debt. Giving money to illegals who are not here for free benefits is a terrible idea. It never should have been the case. And it used to be a thing where you had to prove that you were not going to be a public charge. I want to go into, let me see how long this
Cuba,
is.
Colombia.
I don't know if this is the whole one. So this is Sheriff, I think it's Grady Judd. He's in Florida, and he's been doing a lot of big trafficking busts. And every time he's done one of these busts, he has found tons of illegal immigrants. They also had Sheriff Grady. I love him. He's my favorite. I think he has his own TikTok account. But he does all these busts, and also in North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, even during the hurricanes, a lot of the looting, they were illegal immigrants that were coming in those areas and looting. And then a lot of these trafficking busts, they're finding illegal immigrants either that are doing the trafficking or have been trafficked over our border. I can't remember exactly what this bust was, but let's just watch it.
25 illegal immigrants were arrested in this operation. They were from Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. 16% of these total arrests were people who should not even have been in this country, but they were here. And they were here because we have a federal government that enabled these criminals to come into the country and then treated them very well after the criminals came here illegally. So let me share a story with you, and then I'm going to read a quote for you and then let you see a video. The prostitutes that came here, several of them had to pay off a coyote debt. Some of them said, hey, we did it because it was easy money. Others said, well, we came here and we were illegal, we couldn't get employment, so we turned to prostitution. Some of them said, we were threatened and our family was threatened if we did not prostitute for the coyotes or for the human traffickers. So I'm going to tell you one story about one of our suspects, Maria, and that's not her real name. She's from Venezuela. She made a conscious decision to come to this country to commit crime.
Oh, this is good. This is what I was looking for. Okay, Maria tells her story, and this is wild.
She flew into Mexico from Venezuela. She walked across from Juarez, Mexico, into El Paso, Texas.
And keep in mind that, yeah, this is who Selena Gomez is. I'm obviously using Selena as an example. This lady came to the country for the sole purpose to commit crime and brought her child.
With her 1-year-old child, where she was greeted by the Border Patrol. Did you hear what I said? She was greeted by the Border Patrol. There was no sneaking. She flew in, she got here, she simply walked across the open border. There is no border security at the southern border. Zero. It doesn't exist. So when she was greeted, and you'll understand why we use that term in a minute, you'll understand that she went to the Border Patrol processing, where in one day she completed the processing and was released to a facility, a holding facility, a housing facility for immigrants. She said, I was given a DNA test to make sure that my DNA matched my child's. He was given a DEA test to make sure he was really my child. She said, once that occurred, they set me down and they told me all about the benefits that I would get in the United States. She said I was eligible and I had to fill out these forms so that I could get those benefits. She said, so I fill forms out for Medicaid, for SNAP, which is money for food. She said I was given free travel from the border to Chicago. When I got to Chicago, I couldn't find gainful employment there, so I thought, what the heck? I'll go to Florida. And then I got to fly to Florida. She was giving free housing, all because the United States paid for that. That's right, you, the taxpayers, got to pay for that. So this was all simply walking across the border. She said it was unbelievable to me. But let me read her quote.
Even she said it was unbelievable.
Because understand, she walked across the border. This was not a stealthful act. And then they gave her free travel, free housing, free food, free medical care. All why people from the hurricane are still waiting for help.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. This was right. Wait, I think this was right after Milton. Oh, I forgot. But yeah, just think about that. Think about what she was getting while you have people that are still suffering from the hurricane. You had people in Maui that were offered $700. And they're like, do you need, and she's just flying around oh, I don't like this city. Let me just go to the next city.
Let me read in English, and then we're going to play the
It was right after Milton? Okay.
video clip she agreed to do if we'd use another name. When I passed through immigration, they sat me down and explained to me all the benefits I was eligible for. I was told I could apply for government assistance. I could apply for health medical insurance for my son, and I could apply for food assistance. After I finished talking to immigration, a short time passed until a DNA test was done on me and my son to prove that he was my son. Then they set me down with other people who were also waiting and had already qualified to be released. Then they explained to us that the documents we had in our hands were our personal identification in the United States, and we could use the documents to travel on buses and airplanes. They also explained to us that we could use those documents to apply for our documents to become legal here. And after that, they explained after they explained all of the benefits, they said, "Welcome to the United States of North America." And from there, they transported us to a refugee camp. And all of this occurred in one day. So welcome to the United States. This is someone who just crossed the border illegally and to commit crime. And they were not only welcome to the United States, but then they were giving all kinds of benefits at the cost of the taxpayer. So let's listen to her in her words, and then we'll move on from there to other topics.
Bueno, cuando pasé, me sentaron, me explicaron todos los beneficios que tenía, que podía recurrir a ayudas del gobierno, podría recurrir a...
Okay, I cut it off there because he basically said everything that she's about to say. Just wanted you to see that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I appreciate her like going on camera and saying that stuff, but it's wild when you have someone that came to the country for the sole purpose to commit crime, and even they can't believe how easy it was. Like, you can't run a proper country this way. Whoa, YouTube and Twitter at the same time? Yeah, I'm live in all the area codes, which is two of them. So wild, but that's what's happening on our southern border. So you would have to think, how can you be against wanting to clean that up? And you know what? If you do care about women and children, you would want a closed border because that enables smugglers to smuggle people into our country. That's me. What was I talking about? I don't want to know. What can you hear? I'm sorry.
In the Electoral College, Trump also got more immigrant votes than any Republican in recent history. So who exactly is Mike Johnston for? I'm a little bit confused. And I would say if you live in one of these areas, I would pay attention to any of these individuals that are saying they are against what Trump is doing when you have the overwhelming majority of Americans that voted for Trump and that want him to follow through, including newly arrived legal immigrants. And I also want to point this out. You have our border czar who is saying that he's going after the most dangerous first, which we know there's a lot of dangerous people in Denver, Colorado. And who are they victimizing more than anyone? Newly arrived asylum seekers. If you are a legitimate asylum seeker, you have nothing to worry about. So again, who is this guy for? And if you live there, I would highly pay attention to all of these people and make sure they get primaried and they never ever work in public office again.
That was a good video, Sarah. Oh, there I am again. Why am I on here so much? Oh, maybe because it's my thing. Um, hello. So with the mass deportations, they're doing targeted ones, but I also think they're doing a lot of workplace raids too, and they're in the water. So I don't know if you I wonder if I can find it. Trump fired basically the chief of the Coast Guard. Oh yeah, do you guys remember all of this happening? This, by the way, this is San Diego, California. So this had been happening like all over the southern coast, all of California, all the way up to Laguna Beach, which is hours from Mexico. But you were seeing this happening in residential neighborhood. This is Rooted Wings. She has a really good account. I believe she lives in California, but she reports a lot on California. But this is the kind of stuff that was happening. Look at this. Running up residential area. And then look, they always have cars waiting.
They're illegal aliens. Man, there must be
There are a lot of
dude, they got kids with them too.
I didn't know. Oh my God, there's a child.
You guys, Selena Gomez is here. Selena, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I made fun of you. That's crazy. You must have a lot of time on your hands. Who did that? I saw one where they flipped a boat. It is really sad. Oh, but I wanted to show you that video because this had been happening and it felt like it was happening even more frequently. Selena! One of the first things Trump did was he got rid of the like the chief of the Coast Guard. And you kind of learn, were they just being told, was the Coast Guard just being told to stand down? And I brought that up too because now I'm seeing all these videos where our Coast Guard are actually catching people in the water. So I think they're catching people in the water, they're doing their targeted things, and I think there are workplace raids going on as well. Selena, do you have, okay, Selena, we have a request. Can you donate some of your tears to my Liberal Tears coffee mug? If you wouldn't mind responding, Selena, you got a request. Okay, let's keep going. Why? Today's been really silly. All right, are we done with the border? Oh yeah, here's another boat. This is Matt Baker. Matt Baker. Oh, is this one that capsized? Matt Baker breaking 4K drone footage of the boat of illegals that washed stuff off the shore in Ocean Beach. So this was January 25th, 2025. Apparently one man passed away, but there will be no investigation. This is the lawlessness that prevails. This activity is not only dangerous for American citizens, but also those who are encouraged to take the journey. Absolutely. That's really sad that someone passed away. Look at that. Man, that drone got out there at the perfect. Copyright. Hold on, let me just turn that down. Yeah, that's really. Also, if you're looking at the areas where they are coming ashore, these are very residential areas that they're running up on. All right, was that everything with the border? Oh, I think I had a workplace thing I wanted to show you, and then we'll look at some of the RFK stuff because it's spicy. Where's my video? Oh, this is good. Hold on, you'll like this. Here's Tom Homan.
With no water. Are you treating migrants humanely?
Yes.
But there's been reports of them on planes with no water,
That's a bunch of
complaining.
Crap. That's a bunch of crap.
What do you mean a bunch of crap?
ICE detention facilities have the highest detention standards in the industry. Any of the ICE standards, our detention standards are higher than any state or federal or local facility in the nation, in the world. Someone should go to the ICE website, look at PBNDS 11, performance-based detention standards, and look at our detention standards, highest in the industry.
But are you sure you're only getting illegal criminal migrants? I mean, there were some pictures over the weekend of people that claim to be students, Brazilian students, who were showing examples of bruises on their arms from American deportation flights.
That's ridiculous, but if they want to make a complaint, we investigate it.
But your assurance is what?
The men and women of ICE are professionals. We do this for a living. And I can tell you, I ran ICE for years. I was the first director of ICE came up through the ranks. Again, these men and women are professional, highest detention standards in the industry. We take care of these people. But we're going to enforce the law, and we're not going to apologize for doing it.
And you're going to do it in a sort of public way with, do you need to use the big military planes? Is that part of a sort of shock and awe tactic? No. They haven't been used before, have they, for migrants?
No, we got President Trump. We're going to use all the government to secure our border, which is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. And we're going to enforce laws in this country. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's a crime. And when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration caused, when you overwhelm the Border Patrol, but they can't do the national security job, that's when the fentanyl come across, kill 250,000 Americans. That's when you have a 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when you have a record number of no-inspected terrorists coming across an open border. President Trump's going to secure the border as promised to the American people. We're going to enforce immigration laws. That's what we're going to do without apology. We're on board. We're going to go forward. You're going to see it get a hell of a lot bigger in the near future.
Yay. Oh, okay. This is what I wanted to show you. Here's I've seen a few videos where people are doing work raids, but keep in mind they've always been allowed to do that. I'm sure their hands were just more tied under the Biden
And were
administration.
detained from this location,
This is
one of
Florida.
at least 2 early. It is Tuesday night. We begin here with breaking news. Video just coming in now showing an
So this was yesterday.
ICE raid in the Juniata Park section of Philadelphia. The video here shows the scene as Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents conducted the raid at Complete Auto Wash. Witnesses and advocacy groups tell us 7 men were detained from this location, one of at least 2 early morning immigration raids undertaken across Philadelphia today. They come amid an increased crackdown by the Trump administration. Now, the White House said today that these raids will now target anyone in the country illegally for any reason, not merely those with a prior criminal record. Administration officials have already said these raids could target places of employment, schools, and churches. It is Tuesday night. We begin.
All right. Okay. I think that's enough of the border. Now we'll go into RFK, which I wasn't going to talk about today. I forgot. So RFK Jr. is having his confirmation hearing today, and it was rather spicy. I do have to show you. Of course she doesn't care. She's virtue signaling. We know that. Where did Selena go? Selena. I actually was. Do you have both screens up? Someone's watching me at the same time on X. Is one of them faster than the other? So I was actually watching the confirmation hearings on my TikTok earlier, and when you do lives there, they're really funny because they can. There's 4 of me. Oh, that's too many. That's too many fur balls. That's way too many fur balls. That's way too many squeaky fur balls. Oh, anyway, we were so TikTok does this funny thing when you do lives. They can send you gifts and they'll give you like little hats and stuff. And they were doing that. We just watched a few minutes of the confirmation hearing. Do it again.
1 case of
And I was putting little cowboy hats on all of them.
diabetes in his or her lifetime, 40 or 50-year career.
Do it again.
Hey, 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic. Walks through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Okay, that was my cheap laugh for the day. The line to get into this hearing was wild. This was probably the most popular hearing I've seen, or most popular confirmation hearing I've seen yet. So here's just a few clips of it. This is from Charlie Kirk, just so you get an idea of
grievous condition. Today, Americans' overall health is in grievous condition. Over 70% of adults and a third of children are overweight or obese. Diabetes is 10 times more prevalent than it was during the 1960s. Cancer among young people is rising by 1 or 2% a year. Autoimmune diseases, neurodevelopmental disorders, Alzheimer's, asthma, ADHD, depression, addiction, and a host of other physical and mental health conditions are all on the rise, some of them exponentially. Today, Americans' overall health is in grievous condition. Over 70% of adults and a third.
What's crazy is you can tell just, oh, there's Selena. Selena, me and Taylor are out warning our friends because we saw a truck with red slushy cup that said icy on it. Hide your mom, hide your kids. Yeah, Selena, is Blake Lively with you? It's not the perfect trio unless you have Blake Lively with you.
Oh, we need to figure out ways to improve care. Most Americans, if they can afford to be, will be on private insurance. Oh, we need to figure out ways to improve care, particularly for elderly, for veterans, for the poor in this country. And Medicaid, the current model is not doing that. I would ask, any of the Democrats who are chuckling just now, do you think all that money, the $900 billion that we're sending to Medicaid every year, has made Americans healthy? Do we think it's working for anybody? Are the premiums low enough?
And it's almost like he's being bullied at the moment by these Democrats. And what is so wild, this is the one issue. This is the one issue that I think almost every single American agrees on. Every single American agrees that there's obviously some problems in our system. Everyone, the food supply, big pharma, all of that, everybody agrees on that. Hold on, we have an update from Selena. Blake can't help because she's in the Hamptons with Meghan and Harry. I should have known. Duh. Every single person, and this is something that across political spectrums, ages, socioeconomic backgrounds, this is something that everyone wants cleaned up. So the whole public agrees that we have serious problems and people are a lot more unhealthy now than what they used to be. Oh, here was he had a protester.
News reports have claimed that I'm. Before I conclude, I want to make sure the committee is clear about a few things. News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
We'll have order. Please proceed, Mr. Kennedy.
I am pro-safety.
This is probably my favorite clip.
HHS will be radical. My approach to administration HHS will be radical transparency. If members of this committee or other members of Congress want information, the doors are open. I've spent many years litigating against NIH and its sub-agencies. HHS and its sub-agencies, NIH, CDC, FDA, on FOIA issues, trying to get information that we, the taxpayers, paid for, and oftentimes getting back redacted copies after a year or 2 years of litigation. That should not be the case. And if Congress asks me for information, you will get it immediately.
Awesome. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Look at this guy. All of the Democrats that are so against him, just look at how they look. Do they look healthy? They don't look healthy.
These things cannot be true. So, are you lying to Congress today when you say you are pro-vaccine, or did you lie on all those podcasts?
As you know, because it's been repeatedly debunked, that statement that I made on the Lex Friedman podcast was a fragment of the statement. I said there are no vaccines that are safe and effective, and I was going to continue for every person. Every medicine has people who are sensitive to them, including vaccines.
Right. So
he interrupted me at that point. I've corrected it many times, including on national TV. You know about this, Senator Wyden. So bringing this up right now is dishonest.
Wow. And that's how it went. I feel so special. I didn't know Selena was going to pop in.
Food away from anybody. Make sure that Americans are away. But I don't want to take food away from anybody. If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger, or a Diet Coke, which my boss loves. And you should be able to get them. If you want to eat Hostess Twinkies, you should be able to do that. But you should know what the impacts are on your family and on your health.
I totally agree with that. Hey, it's a free country. Like, if you want to eat those things, totally eat them. But he's right. You should know what's in your food and you should know what the effects are so that you can make that decision. But we have so many things that we're told. It's almost like, you know how you go to the store and it's like all the health stuff. Sometimes that's the most unhealthy stuff. The stuff that's like, oh, drink the healthy version, the light version, the sugar-free, the bleh. So it's a spicy hearing. I like RFK Jr. I don't know if you can tell, but Megyn Kelly was sitting behind him somewhere. I noticed her earlier today. So I'm excited for him to get confirmed. I'm excited for Tulsi Gabbard to get confirmed. But you can just tell how out of touch the Democrats. Oh, there was another post that I saw earlier today. I think I retweeted it. And the media. And that's the thing. We all know stuff is up with our food. We all know that stuff is up with Big Pharma. Oh yeah, check this out. Astounding. Reporters at RFK hearing have a pre-written negative headlines. Let's see what it says. RFK Jr. faces grilling on anti-vaccine comments and animal mutilation at confirmation hearing. Trump live updates. Unbelievable. And that's why nobody trusts the media. Oh, really? Do not eat turkey burgers or turkey bacon for your own health. Have you guys ever had a turkey burger? I don't like the texture. I just can't do the texture of a turkey burger or like a Beyond Burger or anything like that. It's just bleh. I'm not a fan. I always think it's better to just eat the real thing. That's my philosophy. Red dye being banned is too much of a coincidence after years of being in use. Yeah, and that was really interesting because it got banned in makeup. I think I read that somewhere. Hold on. Yeah, so the FDA banned red number 3, also known as FD&C red number 3, from use in cosmetics in 1990. And it took until January of 2025 to get it banned in food. And you're ingesting it. The reason it got banned is because it's a carcinogen, I think, right? So, food manufacturers have until January of 2027 to remove red number 3 from their products. Drugs manufacturers have until January 2028 to remove them from their products. FDA banned red number 3 in cosmetics before our food. But they kept it in probably because it was cheaper to make. All right, everyone, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be back tomorrow, I think. Same time, same places. All right, bye. They said they knew, wait, what? Yes, they knew it caused cancer back in the 80s and 90s. Ew, you are gross. You're gross, Rachel. Get out of here. That's not very nice. Imagine being someone that just pops in a random live stream and it's like, you're gross. Have a better day, Rachel. We were on a break. All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you, Hawk. Thank you, Sir TD Miles. I'll see y'all later. Bye.